The first week of the CDL, and wow, what a game mode overload is. I've got you with the day 1, day 2 and day 3 recap if you manage to miss any of the actions. Overload, but what a game mode. Some teams are already printing wins on overload and they're punishing those who can't catch up quick. I'm Coach D-Real, and in this video I am going to give you a recap on everything that mattered for the first week of the CDL. Day 1 of the CDL in 60 seconds. First up was OpTic Texas versus the Riyadh Falcons. Everybody expected OpTic to handle Riyadh. This was Pred and Cell versus this Texas team. OpTic handled it with a clean 3-0. Shotzi taking over map 1. Clean S&D, clean overload. Early statement, more of the same. Boston versus Carolina, my surprise series of the day. Everyone was counting out Boston after their not so confidence-inducing performance during the Monster Invitational. They end up coming out swinging against Carolina Royal Ravens. They look very comfortable on both hardpoints. They went to a round 11 on S&D. Should have been 4-0. I will say though, Carolina, they do have potential with this young squad led by Slasher. They look like they're just a bit too fast from the pacing perspective, but good signs if you are Boston. And the headline series for the monster matchup of the day, it was your 100 Thieves LAT versus Vegas FaZe, Simp versus Abizi. The first time officially since their breakup, bigger than Brad Pitt and Angelina Jolie, that they have faced. LAT end up taking that 3-0, but my god, what a series. What a hard point, what an S&D, and Overload. I was not familiar with your game. What a cracking series that was. LAT looked way more alive than people gave them credit for. That's your day 1 snapshot. Now let's break down what actually mattered inside of the maps. Similar to Black Ops 6, and I think teams will get the hang of it the more they play, is think about controlling the chaos. Understand the positions you have and understand how you can use that in order to win the next wave. This is hardpoint, not spawn point. There are a couple of hills where the spawns do matter, but when you have good positions, focus on playing your guarantees and using that numerical advantage to soak time. We'll watch G2 do it perfectly here during P2. Right here, Mamba plays a good position, bumps out. He will end up getting traded, but look at 6 and look at 7. Look at the power positions that they are playing. Look at the last guy in the flow picking up the pinch. And if we think of it like a conveyor belt, guys, depending on the number that you are based on the map progression you have, you can play your advantageous positions once you start reading the pressure. Guys, positions are advantageous because it gives you the ability to help each other and give you a high percentage chance of winning that next gunfight, as is the nature of the position. Either you have height, a head glitch, the ability to camera, the ability to play an off angle, the ability to set up your teammates, and you'll see it right here. Skies is in a hybrid position. 7 is playing a disciplined position to not overextend in order to force OpTic into their trap. 8 is going to refill over to understand where the pressure is coming from. And you see the last person in spawn watching the pinch and keeping the game controlled and keeping the game blocked, keeping the spawns blocked of that side. There's a lack of ego, Charles. They fight at the same time, and you have power positions in order to dictate the wave. And this is how you can use your timings and your talented players to start getting mixy. And we see it here. An off angle here. Skies peeks out towards the right. Peeker's advantage, sees him before Shotzi can see him, kills him, only gets 1 bullet basically into him, thinks where the next common spot is going to be, the next hot spot is going to be, slide cancels out, will take that chal alongside his teammate. A is also going to be watching over, so they have a team chal going on. This is the first kill of the wave. This is potentially go, go, go once the team fight starts to happen. Slide cancels out. Pre-fires Mercules is the next obvious spot of where someone's going to be. They're now in a 3v2. 8, you'll see shift across. 5 is going to continue to watch it until they get information of where the last 2 are. And look how they'll end up shifting across. Number 5 as the third guy will shift across based on where the pressure's coming. 8 refills the power spot that Skies was in, and look how they take their fights together. Now, Estriel with the numbers in a 3 versus 1 is going to take that fight. This is how you win the first 20 seconds of the hill, the first wave, and now you know exactly where they're spawning, and you have the ability for the next 20 seconds to do the same thing, or if you want to, bump out, take fights, get the first kill, and not be so predictable. So we see it here. Ends up taking Hugh, good kill on Kremp, but they just refill. This is what we call flow, guys. Flow is understanding what lanes you need to continuously refill in order to give yourself the highest percentage chance of winning the next gunfight, to put yourself in positions to trade, and just keep what side of the maps you want to prioritize, right? And look at them prioritizing this first while they have Estriel, because it's such a power position. And look how they play it here. Mamba's in this power spot again that they're continuously going to be refilling. Guys, what do you notice about number 8? As the last guy in the flow, what is his job? Well, he's going to keep the game controlled. He's going to pick up pinch. He's going to keep the spawns blocked in case they do want to bump out. Everyone has a responsibility. It's quite simple and quite easy here. And you see that right now. They're all comfortable. They're on the same page about what lanes they want to pick up, what lanes they want to fill. And this is the system that they have. And you see Kremp here, refilling through middle off spawn, ends up deciding to take the pinch because they've made the kills. And now he's going to be pinching, spawning them deep and cutting them, holding an off angle, understanding where they're going to be, slide cancels out, takes the fight, gets one, well, you'd think he'd get one kill, but that's the beautiful thing, is even if Kremp doesn't get one kill, they're in a position where they can trade, they have the power spots, and that's how you start soaking time. And that's the difference right now. And there we have it, G2 secure basically a full 60 seconds. Here we have a fantastic example of discipline and letting the game come to you, respecting the wave and playing your power positions in a wave from Paris Gentlemates going into a P4 rotation. Now this is a listen in, and I'm going to let you guys listen in, but listen to the comms of especially Sib, you know, Envoy, holding an off angle, understanding where the pressure is coming from, and then allowing your teammates to have the time to be able to do something. So we'll play it out here.
I need an arc for you. One outer roof, outer roof. One touch. Keep off him. Yeah. Abuza first guy. Abuza first guy. Go in front of me. One shot Abuza. He's in broken. Going front. Front shot. I'm laying down outer. Are you done? Hate him outer. Average server help. Hate him outer though. Yeah, I stunned their push. I got over. Nothing stunned him.
Great work out of FaZe Vegas there, pulling the score back. But is it going to be enough? Let's go for a listen in with the boys in pink.
That's how Gentlemates secure a lot of time from basically 1 or 2 waves. So I want to go back and show you. So right here, it's about understanding who has what in the flow. It's about understanding where the pressure from FaZe is going to be coming from and understanding the amount of space you can get. And this is the difference between pro players and the rest of you guys watching, is I have seen players who will just bang it out and hit scrap without respecting or predicting where enemies are going to be. This is how now you start to think from a single individual perspective to now team level, and this is why Envoy is one of the greatest at doing so, is he understands their pressure could potentially come here, so he's playing an off angle in order to allow them to come out. Why? You let the game come to you. Why? It allows you to bring your teammates into the play to take the same fights as you from different angles, right? When you know where their pressure is coming from, you can allocate players in hybrid positions or power positions to do the same thing. And he's in a power position here, helping Envoy, eyeing in, letting the game come to him. He's in a position where he's getting info and he's in a hybrid spot to help wherever the pressure is coming from, and just control the chaos, slow it down, let the game come to you. A big problem that I had on New York subliners, and I see this with quite a lot of teams, is when you play a fast team, you try and match their pace. Guys, play at the pace that is comfortable to you and keep the game controlled. And you see it right here. They end up winning this wave. Neptune gets 1, they get 2. They know the last person's here. So what is he going to do, guys? Based on my previous video, bump, refill, block. He's going to go through, use his free life, and then them two are going to help each other get the last guy. This is very important, guys. Understand your positioning. Positioning makes the gunfight, and that's how you use teamwork. I want you guys to watch how OpTic play after they kill Estriel with the ball. And I want you to note the lanes that they're filling in and how they rotate the ball. You're going to see overload as a wave by wave process in order to cap the point. So Merkley's, he gets a hero 3-piece, is what it is. Now, look at the way they're shifting. Look at how they're trying to play middle first. Middle is very important as it serves as your pivot point. Look at number 1, look at number 3 right here. Look at number 4 playing this lane. Look at number 2 getting progression. And then you'll start to see somebody filling out all 3 lanes. This is their step 1. Shotzi takes middle first. They get the info. He's helping number 4 trade out. Now look at where number 4, number 2, and number 1 are. This gives plenty of information for number 3. Remember, he has a pistol in order to do whatever he needs to do with that information. So we keep it playing. Number 2's playing a progression spot to allow number 3 the option to get to him. Number 4 is going to push out and get information to re-pinch to help number 2. And number 1 is going to do the same thing. Look at the way Shotzi's playing, guys. He's not playing to get any more space. He's not trying to play any more progression. He's respecting the wave. You know, based on where you've got these kills, you cannot get any more space. You cannot get any more map control. So you're waiting for your teammates in order to trade out. Look at the way they play this. They're playing it in a way to get as much information as you can in order to make reactionary decisions to move the ball around. A big difference that I see between OpTic and a lot of the other CDL teams is they commit to one portal and they commit, rather than understanding off flow what lanes, where the pressure is the hardest versus where the pressure is the softest, and using that to wrap the ball. Sure, you have your risk of trying to get caught, but this is how you open up timings, and this is how you can get map progression for the step 2. So you see it right here. Number 1 is playing to re-pinch. Number 2 is in a progression spot. And number 4 is waiting. He's ironing for anyone who is going to push out A for a scam kill. He's hoping to get the first blood of the next wave, making it a 4v3. Ends up getting that kill. Estriel kills Hugh. So they kill Mamba. They're in a 4v3. Now they're in a 3v3, but they know where one person is, and they know obviously 2 guys are off spawn. They know the general idea and gist of where they're going to be. But it's not enough to brute force point, especially when Mercules only has a pistol. So let's watch how they play this. Number 2 ends up in a hybrid position, trading out Estriel. Now you're in a 3v2. In essence, you're in a 2v2, so you're in a position where you can bully through the point. This is now how we ape the point. By switching these multiple lanes, it gives you the opportunity to shoot people in the back, get information soon, to then make a play based on that. And you see it right here. Dashi trades, or Dashi kills Skies, and now you have Kremp left alive in this situation in a 2 versus 1, and that's how they end up getting the point. And this is the general gist for the good overload teams of how well they play the wave, understanding what they have, and then playing the second wave. So here are some of the moments that defined day 1 of the CDL. First, we begin with OpTic Gaming, with Shotzi taking over on map 3 overload on Den against the Riyadh Falcons. 11-1 during the first series. This guy was doing everything. The pressure he was putting on the map, taking over.
Yeah, meanwhile, Shotzi's running worlds. He is 11-1 on a 6 spree.
The next play that defined CDL day 1 was between the Carolina Royal Ravens and the Boston Breach. And again, similar to Shotzi, this was on map 3, Den, going into an overload. Cammy kills Nero. They end up bullying through mid-map, using that progression, re-wrapping it through mid. Craze is confused of where the enemies are going to be. He was expecting them to be middle. It gives Purge a free route into the time to secure leading up, getting the lead into the second round, 2-1 up. The final moment that defined day number 1 was between LAT and Vegas FaZe. And surprise, surprise, this was the overload domination of moments. In overtime rules, you only get 1 respawn. So right here, guys, FaZe are up 4 versus 2. But what happens is LAT understand what map control FaZe have. Abizi takes the ball, shifts over to where Paco has progression. Hydra kills 04, and they end up securing the EMP. I have never seen anything like this from Overload, and I'm excited to see more. Let's start with the day 2 snapshot in 60 seconds. We start off with Koi versus Miami Heretics. This was the Battle of Spain. We start off with Real taking his ex-teammates. Trakes, who replaced Real in the offseason, looked uncomfortable to start, but he ended up fitting in as the series went on. Koi smoked him map 1, smoked him in Overload. The first 8-0 of the season. This was one of the series where you wonder how it actually went to a game 5. Map 2 went to a round 11, but map 5, Koi ended up taking them down. Koi looked like the more complete side. You can see Miami haven't had the practice that they want. Match number 2 was G2 versus Cloud9. You had two teams who are basically neck and neck on skill level. G2 ended up defeating C9 3-2, taking the Neslo, taking map 2, 3, and 5. Shout out to C9. They look genuinely dangerous on hardpoint, comfortable in the chaos, but G2's S&D is quite literally levels ahead of them. Caesar is insane with the sniper, Kremp with his first blood TKO potential, constant pressure on the map. Finally, it was the Paris Gentlemates taking out Vancouver Surge 3-0. Nothing really much to say. This was just an easy game for Paris. There was some silver lining for Vancouver. Legend looked better than what we've saw, but it's going to feel like an uphill battle for Vancouver if they want to hang with the top teams in the league. Now, here were the moments on day 2 that defined the weekend for me. Up first was Koi versus Miami, and it started off with map 1. For me, I was curious how they would perform against what you would imagine to be a still strong Miami team. And map 1, they blew it out of the park. Complete 100-point club. They looked fluid, their teamwork looked good, the pacing looked good, it looked like they had a system. So for me, the first moment of the weekend was the entirety of map 1. Now, the next moment that defined the weekend was actually from the same series, and this was the map 5 between Koi and Miami Heretics, and it was the swing round. It was 3-3, and Miami Heretics actually got the first blood against Koi. They ended up getting to A. They ended up planting. Renko is in a position to win in that round. And you're thinking, right, they should win that round. But Joe Deceives takes the timeout, shifts across back to B-bomb site, picks up Renko. What they end up doing is they try and 3-man push out inside because they recognize he has a sniper, and they also recognize Joe Deceives is out of the play. Insight kills Drake, 24 seconds left, it's a 2v1, and they end up retaking site and controlling that. This was a swing round. You could argue if Miami win this, they're up 4-3, going up into an attack, into a defense, where they could have potentially made it a 5-3. Huge moment, could have taken that map, could have taken that series. Really good players from Toronto. My final moment that defined day 2 actually came from Paris Gentlemen's versus Vancouver. And this was a welcome to the league moment for Legend. Oh my God. Lunas is shooting him in the back. Neptune does some weird movement to get up the stairs, kills Lunas, cameras him, kills him completely. You're thinking, right, Legend, Neptune is one shot, so Legend is going for the trade. Neptune bamboozles Legend, takes him out, gets 2 when he has no right in doing so, and then eventually gets the 3rd as well. Paris Gentlemates and Vancouver Surge, they just couldn't find him, they just couldn't trade him, and that defined day 2 for me. Here is your day 3 snapshot in 60 seconds. Los Angeles Thieves kicks off day 3 against the Riyadh Falcons. They looked flat early on during map 1, but then as map 2, map 3, and map 4 came around, they steamrolled them. S&D was 6-0. Overload wasn't close. They looked like the more comfortable team towards the end. The Vegas FaZe pulled off a surprising Neslo 3-2 win against a hot Paris Gentlemates team. Really encouraging based on what we saw with Vegas FaZe earlier on during the week. Surprisingly solid on Overload. Expected strength on S&D. Big sign for their ceiling once they do clean up their respawns. No concern for me for Paris Gentlemates. By far one of the best teams on hardpoint that we have in the league. And OpTic, they dropped their first map against G2. Map number 1. They lock in. Take map number 2, 3, and 4. Map 4 was a domination. Was comfortable in the end. Slow start, but strong finish from OpTic Texas. The moment that defined the weekend for me for day 3 was actually map 5 from FaZe Vegas versus Paris Gentlemen. Vegas are currently 2-0 up. They're in a 4v3 situation, and what they do from lobby is they throw a smoke inside sight, and what that does is it forces Neptune to turn around, because that's where he's thinking the bulk of the pressure is going to be coming from. The smoke bait and switch was the moment for me that defined S&D, and I think a lot more teams are going to start doing that. It was a fantastic play from them. Another moment, I'd say moment, but moments that defined the weekend for me were both LAT and OpTic Texas on Overload. Both teams were fantastic. They're looking like they're getting the grasp of Overload. You can see that the way they're playing, they play for mid control. Any side that they have progression, they'll use it, wrap the ball around. Then they're very fast with the decisions that they're making. And yeah, both teams look comfortable on Overload. So after week number 1 of the CDL, whose stock is up, who am I neutral on, and whose stock is down? So I'm bullish on Boston. I think Boston definitely improved from the Monster Invitational. They look pretty good, look pretty strong. I'm absolutely bullish on Koi. The map 1 and map 3 domination against Miami was beautiful to see. Still concerned about the round 11 in map 2 and then the map 4 in hardpoint against a team who hasn't practiced, but still bullish. And I'm happy to say I am bullish on Vegas FaZe. I think the fact that they overcame their hump against the Paris Gentlemen, they showed that they can beat the S tier teams, and I expect them to get better at hardpoint moving forward. Who am I neutral on after week 1? Neutral on LAT. I still think they're firmly, second, third best team in the league. They're getting better and better and better, but they're neutral for me. Texas, still the best team in the game. Neutral. Nothing's changed from the previous week. Gentlemen, neutral for me. I think even after this loss against Vegas, nothing's really changed. Second best team in the league alongside LAT. And I'm neutral on both C9 and G2. I don't think this week has really shown too much. I think G2 we expected to be good from the Monster Invitational. That hasn't changed for me. Winning against C9 and having a good performance against OpTic, neutral. Now, who am I bearish on? Whose stock do I think has taken a little bit of a hit? I'm bearish on Miami. Now, Miami did take a map 5 loss against Koi, but map 1 and map 3, they looked like they're so far behind in practice. I think the more that they play, the more they'll improve. But just for right now, I'm bearish on them. And I'm still bearish on Falcons. They did look a little bit better against LAT. I expect as the season goes on, this team will improve significantly. But yeah, still yet to see that, and I'm still bearish on them. If you enjoyed the recap and you want more, make sure you subscribe. If you want private coaching, check out my website, dreal.co.uk. I have a full Overload guide coming out. I think it might already be out, so check the channel. Make sure you subscribe. I've got a new neuroscience of aiming video coming out soon, so make sure you subscribe, like the video, comment who impressed you the most, whose stock is up, who's neutral, and whose stock is down. Appreciate you guys. See you next week.